Hey there, Raiders Nation and football fans everywhere. Welcome back to your go-to source for all things silver and black. I'm your host, diving deep into the heart of NFL drama today. Picture this. It's the wild world of the AFC West, where rivalries burn hotter than the Vegas Strip at midnight. And right now, all eyes are on the Las Vegas Raiders and their star defensive powerhouse, Max Crosby. What if I told you that even after a tough loss to those perennial pests, the Kansas City Chiefs, the rumor mill is churning out whispers that could shake the foundation of this iconic franchise? Buckle up, folks, because we're about to unpack the latest buzz on whether Crosby might be on the move, or if it's all just smoke in the desert air. Let's start with the headlines that have everyone talking. Coming off that heartbreaking defeat to the Chiefs on Sunday, yeah, the one where Patrick Mahomes and company reminded us why they're the reigning champs, the trade rumors hit like a blindside blitz. Max Crosby, the relentless edge rusher who's been the soul of the Raiders' defense, suddenly finds his name floating in trade talks as we barrel toward the NFL's November 4th deadline. It's no shocker, right? The Raiders are sitting at a frustrating spot in the standings, and when teams struggle, the vultures start circling the stars. But hold on, within hours of those rumors gaining traction on Tuesday, an NFL Network report dropped the mic. The Raiders have sat down with Crosby, assured him they're not shopping him around, and flat out said he won't be traded. Oh, and get this, Crosby reportedly wants to stay put in Vegas. Sounds like a quick fix to quiet the noise, doesn't it? The team clearly wants to keep the focus on the field for the next couple of weeks, steering clear of distractions as they prep for upcoming battles. But here's where things get really interesting, folks. Not everyone's buying what the Raiders are selling. Enter Mike Florio from NBC's Pro Football Talk, a guy who's seen more NFL twists than a pretzel factory. On his PFT live show Wednesday, Florio didn't mince words. He said, quote, NFL media reported last night that the Raiders told Crosby, "We're not shopping you and we won't be trading you." And also they reported that Crosby wants to stay. I don't know that I believe the last part. Ouch. Florio went on to explain that Crosby might just be stuck there, especially after getting that big payday. He argued it's not smart for a player to publicly demand a trade if the team's holding firm. It could tank his value or create bad blood. And Florio doubled down, saying he doesn't see Crosby as truly untouchable. In his view, if a juicy offer comes knocking, the Raiders might just listen. He wrapped it up by reminding us how these things play out. Teams play coy to drive up the price, creating a market through back-channel negotiations. We've seen this before, Florio emphasized. You don't get maximum value by shouting, "We want to trade him," from the rooftops. It's classic NFL chess, and Florio's not convinced the denial is rock solid. He thinks it's possible, even if not probable, that Crosby could be dealt if the right deal materializes. Now, let's break this down like a film session in the Raiders' war room at Allegiant Stadium, that gleaming black fortress we all call the Death Star. Max Crosby isn't just any player. He's the embodiment of the Raiders' rebellious spirit. Drafted in the 4th round back in 2019 out of Eastern Michigan, this guy's risen like a phoenix from the ashes of overlooked prospects. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches with arms that seem to stretch across the field, Crosby's racked up 58.5 sacks in his career so far, including a league-leading pace in pressures this season despite the team's woes. His motor, unstoppable. Remember that game against the Chargers last year where he single-handedly disrupted their entire offensive line, forcing 2 fumbles and sacking Justin Herbert twice? That's the kind of havoc he wreaks. But injuries and frustrations have crept in. The Raiders' defense has been solid under his leadership, allowing just 24 points per game on average, but the offense has struggled to keep pace, ranking near the bottom in yards per play. Crosby's contract, a 4-year, $94 million extension signed in 2022, is structured with outs that make a trade feasible without crippling the cap. It's no accident. Al Davis, the legendary owner who built this franchise on boldness, always preached flexibility. Just win, baby, he'd say, and sometimes that means tough decisions. Speaking of history, Raiders fans know better than anyone how these trade sagas can explode out of nowhere. This is the team born in Oakland in 1960, forged in the fires of AFL rebellion, and relocated to Vegas in 2020 after stints in LA. We've got 3 Super Bowl rings, 11 in '76 with Ken, the Snake Stabler slinging passes like magic, 15 in '80 under Tom Flores, and 18 in '83 where Marcus Allen danced through defenses like he owned the field. But trades? Oh, we've seen our share of heartbreak. Think back to 2018 when Khalil Mack, another All-Pro pass rusher, was shipped to the Bears just before the season opener. Fans were furious, but it netted picks that helped rebuild. Or go further, the infamous Herschel Walker-like deal in the 80s that brought in talent for those championship runs. And don't get me started on the rivalries. The Chiefs, with their Arrowhead empire, the Broncos, those mile-high marauders, the Chargers, our SoCal siblings turned foes. Crosby's been a thorn in all their sides, with 10 sacks against KC alone. Trading him now, it'd be like selling the black hole section of the stadium. Raiders Nation, that sea of skull and crossbones faithful, would riot. To get a feel for the locker room vibe, imagine if we caught up with Crosby post-practice. In a fictional chat, he'd probably say something like, "Look man, I'm all in on the silver and black. This team's in my blood, I've bled for it on that field." But yeah, frustrations build when wins are hard to come by. I want rings, not just stats. Coach Antonio Pierce, the fiery leader who's channeling John Madden's old-school grit, might add, "Max is our warrior. He's not going anywhere unless it's for something that catapults us forward. We're building here in Vegas, not tearing down." And let's not forget Tom Brady. Yeah, that Tom Brady, now a minority owner. With his 7 rings, he'd weigh in. "I've been on both sides of trades. If it makes the team better long-term, you consider it." But Crosby's got that championship fire. Even a die-hard fan from the Oakland days might chime in, "We've lost legends before, Charles Woodson, Tim Brown, but Crosby's our modern gladiator. Trade him. Over my dead body." Statistically, let's paint the picture. The Raiders are hovering around .500, but their pass rush ranks top 5 league-wide, thanks largely to Crosby's 7.5 sacks through 7 games. Compare that to last season's 13.5 total, and you see he's on pace for a career high. But the team's -8 turnover differential is killing them, worse than their 2023 mark. If they trade Crosby, they'd likely fetch a haul, maybe a first-round pick plus a young stud, echoing the Mac for Mac swap. Implications? Short-term, the defense crumbles. Long-term, it accelerates a rebuild under GM John Spytek, who's got an eye for talent like Al Davis did. Playoff hopes this year? Slim, but a trade could stockpile assets for 2026, when the draft class is loaded with offensive linemen to protect quarterback Aiden O'Connell or whoever steps up. Looking ahead, folks, this could reshape the AFC West landscape. If Crosby stays, he's the anchor for a potential turnaround. Maybe a wild card push if they string wins against the Broncos and Chargers. But if he's dealt, say to a contender like the Lions or Eagles, watch out. He'd pair with Aiden Hutchinson or Jalen Carter and terrorize quarterbacks en route to a Super Bowl. For the Raiders, it might mean tanking for a top pick, eyeing a franchise QB. My prediction? It's a 30% chance he moves. Florio's skepticism rings true, but Crosby's loyalty and that commitment to excellence motto Al Davis etched into the franchise's DNA might win out. Remember the tuck rule game? The immaculate reception? Raiders history is full of plot twists. Alright, Raiders faithful, that's the scoop on the Crosby saga. Drama that's got the NFL buzzing like never before. Whether he stays or goes, one thing's certain. This team embodies resilience, from the Oakland roots to the Vegas lights. So, tune in this weekend as they face next opponent, and let's see if they can silence the doubters on the field. Hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think happens with Max? Until next time, just win, baby. Go Raiders!